There are people in this world who seem to have it all together. They walk with confidence, speak with charm, and make you feel like you are the most important person in the room. But let me tell you something. Sometimes what looks like love is not love at all. Some people don't fall in love because they see you. They fall in love because they see themselves in you. They don't love for connection. They love for validation. Love is one of the most powerful forces in the world. It has the ability to heal, to restore, and to bring people together in ways that nothing else can. But sometimes what looks like love is not love at all. Sometimes it is a carefully constructed illusion designed to capture attention, to validate the self, and to create the appearance of something real, when beneath the surface it lacks the depth to truly last. When a narcissist falls in love, it is not the way a healthy heart does. For most people, love is about connection, understanding, and mutual support. It is about growing together, embracing one another's strengths and weaknesses, and building something that stands the test of time. But for a narcissist, love serves a different purpose. Love is not about intimacy. It is about admiration. It is about finding someone who can reflect back to them the image they want to see. They do not love because they genuinely see and appreciate another person. They love because they see a version of themselves that makes them feel powerful, desired, and important. This is why, in the beginning, a narcissist can appear to be the perfect partner. They know how to say all the right words, how to make someone feel special, and how to create a connection that feels deep, almost like destiny. They idealize their partner, showering them with attention and praise, making them feel like they have found something rare and irreplaceable. This is not love in its purest form. It is a reflection of the narcissist's need to be seen as extraordinary. They are not truly falling in love with the other person. They are falling in love with the way that person makes them feel about themselves. This illusion of love is powerful because it is built on a foundation of intense admiration. In the early stages, everything feels perfect. There are grand gestures, constant compliments, and an overwhelming sense that this relationship is unlike anything else. But this phase does not last. Because it was never built on real connection, it begins to shift the moment the narcissist feels that the admiration is fading. The moment their partner expresses independence, disagrees with them, or no longer provides the same level of validation, the illusion begins to crack. This is when the idealization fades and the devaluation begins. What was once charming becomes controlling. What once felt like love starts to feel like criticism. The person who was once placed on a pedestal is now made to feel small. The narcissist, unable to handle the idea that love is not constant admiration, begins to withdraw, manipulate, or even punish their partner emotionally. This shift happens not because love has changed, but because the narcissist's need for validation is no longer being met in the way they desire. For a narcissist, love is conditional. It is not about accepting someone fully. It is about ensuring that they continue to serve a specific role in the narcissist's world. If that role changes, if their partner begins to assert their own needs, or if the admiration is no longer as intense, the narcissist begins to feel threatened. Their love is not selfless. It is transactional. And when they no longer feel that they are receiving what they need, they start to pull away, creating confusion and pain in the person who once felt cherished. This is why relationships with narcissists often leave people feeling lost and questioning their own worth. At first, they were made to feel like they were everything, but as the illusion fades, they begin to feel like they are not enough. This is not because they have changed, but because the narcissist version of love was never about them in the first place. It was about control. It was about maintaining an image. It was about ensuring that their own self-worth was constantly reinforced through the eyes of another. True love is not based on admiration alone. It is not about creating a fantasy or expecting perfection. It is about seeing a person fully, flaws, strengths, insecurities, and all, and loving them not for what they can provide, but for who they truly are. But for a narcissist, this kind of love is difficult. It requires vulnerability, and vulnerability requires a willingness to let go of control. It requires being open to seeing another person as an equal, not just as a source of validation. Many people who have been in relationships with narcissists find themselves wondering what they did wrong. They try to regain the love they once had, thinking that if they could just be more like they were in the beginning, things would return to the way they used to be. But the truth is, what was there in the beginning was never real love. It was an illusion, a carefully crafted performance designed to captivate, to impress, and to maintain control. The painful reality is that love, in its truest form, cannot exist where one person is only seeking to be admired. It cannot thrive in a space where one person fears being truly known. Love is about two people coming together as they are, not about one person molding the other into a mirror of their own desires. And until a narcissist is willing to confront the truth about themselves, their love will always be just that, an illusion. Love has the power to reveal who we truly are. It acts as a mirror, reflecting back to us the deepest parts of ourselves, our strengths, our insecurities, and even the wounds we have yet to heal. For most people, love is a journey of mutual discovery, where both individuals grow through connection, trust, and understanding. But for a narcissist, love operates differently. It does not serve as a place for genuine emotional exchange. Instead, it becomes a reflection of their own self-worth. They do not seek love for companionship or emotional intimacy, but rather as a way to reinforce the image they have created for themselves. A narcissist sees love as a means to validate their existence. They are drawn to relationships that reflect back to them an idealized version of themselves. Rather, they choose partners who admire them, who elevate them, and who feed their need to feel special. To a narcissist, love is not about discovering who the other person is. It is about seeing themselves reflected in the way their partner adores them. This is why narcissists are so skilled at making their partners feel chosen. They often shower their partner with admiration and affection, making them feel like they are the most special person in the world. But this is not because the narcissist truly sees their partner's unique qualities. It is because they see someone who can serve as a mirror to their own greatness. They are not in love with the person. They are in love with the way that person makes them feel. Their partner becomes an extension of their ego, a reflection of their own self-emotion. But the problem with using love as a mirror is that mirrors do not always show what we want to see. Over time, as the relationship deepens, reality begins to set in. No person can maintain the role of constant admirer forever. As their partner begins to express their own needs, desires, and boundaries, the reflection that once seemed so perfect to the narcissist starts to change. They begin to see things in the mirror that they do not like, imperfections, differences, and even challenges to their self-perception. This is where the shift begins. The admiration they once gave freely starts to fade. The warmth they once exuded turns cold. They may begin to criticize their partner, not because their partner has changed, but because the reflection is no longer as flattering. The very same qualities they once praised might now become sources of irritation. What was once seen as charming may now be viewed as a flaw. The narcissist begins to withdraw, manipulate, or even devalue their partner. Not because the love was ever real, but because the mirror is no longer reflecting what they want to see. At this stage, their partner may feel confused and begin to question themselves. They may wonder what they did wrong, why the love that once felt so strong has suddenly turned distant. But the truth is, the love was never about them to begin with. It was about the narcissist's need to feel important, admired, and in control. The moment the reflection no longer serves that purpose, the narcissist feels the urge to either fix it by forcing their partner back into a role of admiration, or discard it entirely and seek a new mirror elsewhere. For the narcissist, love is transactional. It is not about giving, but about receiving. They do not see their partner as an individual with their own needs and emotions, but as someone who exists to reinforce their own self-worth. When love is used as a mirror, it is never truly about connection. It is about projection. It is about maintaining an illusion of perfection, rather than embracing the reality of what it means to love and be loved in return. This is why relationships with narcissists often leave people feeling empty, drained, and unsure of their own worth. They spend so much time trying to be the perfect reflection trying to keep the narcissist happy, that they lose sight of themselves. But the truth is, love is not supposed to be a mirror. It is not meant to reflect only what is flattering. Real love is about two people seeing each other for who they truly are, not just for what they can provide to one another's ego. A narcissist may seek love, but until they learn to look beyond their own reflection, they will never truly be able to give it. In the beginning, everything feels perfect. The connection is instant, almost as if fate itself brought two souls together. The narcissist knows exactly what to say, how to say it, and when to say it to make their partner feel special, chosen, and irreplaceable. This is the charm and idealization phase, the period where the narcissist creates an illusion so powerful that their partner believes they have found something rare, something unlike anything they have ever experienced before. It is intoxicating, overwhelming, and deeply convincing. A narcissist thrives on admiration. And in the early stages of a relationship, they go to great lengths to secure it. They present themselves as the perfect partner, attentive, generous, and deeply affectionate. They shower their partner with compliments, gifts, and grand gestures, making them feel as if they are the center of their universe. This is not by accident. It is a calculated effort to draw the other person in, to create a bond so strong that it becomes difficult to see the reality behind the illusion. At this stage, the narcissist mirrors their partner's desires, dreams, and values. If their partner loves adventure, they suddenly become adventurous. If their partner values deep conversations, they present themselves as profound and introspective. They study their partner carefully, picking up on what makes them feel valued and loved, and they reflect it back with intent. This mirroring makes the partner believe they have finally found someone who understands them completely, someone who is perfectly aligned with their heart and soul. Because of this intense idealization, the partner may feel a sense of euphoria, as if they have stepped into a fairy tale. The narcissist's words are filled with promises of a future together, of unwavering love, of a bond that nothing could ever break. The narcissist, they may speak of destiny, of how they have never felt this way before, and of how their partner is the most extraordinary person they have ever met. This level of affirmation is addictive, creating a deep emotional attachment in a very short period of time. But beneath the surface, this phase is not about love. It is about control. The narcissist is not idealizing their partner because they see them as they truly are. They are idealizing them because they need to create a powerful emotional connection that ensures loyalty and devotion. They want their partner to become emotionally invested, to feel seen and valued in a way they never have before, so that when the shift happens, when the admiration starts to fade and the criticisms begin, the partner will fight to get back what once felt so real. The idealization phase can be one of the most confusing aspects of a relationship with a narcissist because it feels so genuine. The intensity of their affection, the depth of their attention, and the effort they put into making their partner feel special all seem sincere. And in those moments, it is difficult to imagine that it is all part of a cycle, one that is designed not to nurture love, but to establish dominance. Many people who have experienced this phase describe it as the highest high they have ever felt in a relationship. They recall the passion, the deep conversations, the feeling of being completely understood. But what they do not realize in the moment is that the narcissist is not loving them for who they are loving them for what they represent. They are loving the validation, the admiration, and the reflection of their own greatness that their partner provides. Over time, the cracks begin to show. The narcissist's charm, which once felt effortless, begins to feel rehearsed. The attention that once felt limitless starts to dwindle. The grand gestures become less frequent. And the words that once felt like poetry start to sound hollow. And yet, the partner holds on, trying to revive the magic of those early days, believing that if they just do or say the right thing, they can bring back the love that once felt so real. But the love was never real. It was an illusion. A carefully constructed performance designed to captivate, to control, and to secure admiration. And once the narcissist feels they have secured that admiration, the idealization phase comes to an end, making way for the next stage, the slow and painful process of devaluation. Love is meant to be a place of connection, trust, and mutual growth. It thrives where there is understanding, vulnerability, and a willingness to nurture one another. But for a narcissist, love is not about connection. It is about control. They do not enter relationships seeking to build something deep and meaningful. They enter seeking to dominate, to ensure that they remain in a position of power. Love for them is not an equal partnership, but a carefully constructed dynamic where they can dictate the rules, set the tone, and maintain emotional superiority. In the beginning, the narcissist appears to be the perfect partner. They are charming, attentive, and incredibly generous with their affection. They create an environment where their partner feels valued, adored, and deeply understood. This is not done out of genuine love, but as a strategy to establish control. By making their partner feel special early on, they create a sense of emotional dependency. Their partner begins to believe that this person holds the key to their happiness. And once that belief is set, the narcissist subtly begins to shift the balance of power. At first, the control may seem harmless. It can come in the form of small suggestions: what to wear, how to act, or who to spend time with. But over time, these suggestions turn into expectations, and those expectations turn into demands. The narcissist may start to criticize their partner's choices, making them feel as though they are not good enough, not smart enough, or not worthy unless they conform to the narcissist's standards. What once felt like love and admiration now starts to feel like scrutiny and judgment. One of the most powerful tools a narcissist uses to maintain control is emotional manipulation. They are masters at shifting blame, making their partner feel responsible for their moods, their actions, and even their mistreatment. If their partner expresses hurt or frustration, the narcissist quickly turns the conversation around, making them feel guilty for speaking up. They may say things like, "Why are you always so sensitive?" or "You're overreacting again," creating self-doubt and making their partner question their own feelings. This tactic, known as gaslighting, allows a narcissist to rewrite reality, ensuring that their partner remains dependent on their version of events. Another way they exert control is through inconsistency. In one moment, they may be affectionate and loving, making their partner feel cherished, but in the next, they may withdraw, criticize, or give the silent treatment without explanation. This unpredictable behavior creates a cycle where their partner is constantly seeking approval, trying to regain the warmth and affection that once felt so abundant. The highs and lows keep their partner emotionally invested, hoping that if they just try harder, they can bring back the love they once felt. But what they do not realize is that the narcissist is controlling the entire experience, deciding when to give love and when to take it away. Control over connection also manifests in how a narcissist handles conflict. In a healthy relationship, disagreements are an opportunity for growth, a chance to understand each other better. But for a narcissist, conflict is a game of power. They do not seek resolution. They seek dominance. They may escalate arguments to the point where their partner feels overwhelmed and backs down, reinforcing their control. Or they may completely shut down, refusing to engage until their partner comes apologizing, even when they were not in the wrong. Either way, the goal is the same: to maintain the upper hand and to condition their partner to accept their version of reality. Over time, the partner of a narcissist may begin to lose themselves. They may start to silence their own needs and desires, prioritizing the narcissist's feelings above their own. They may avoid conflict at all costs, walking on eggshells to prevent triggering an emotional outburst. They may become so accustomed to seeking approval that they forget what it feels like to have autonomy over their own thoughts and choices. And yet, despite the pain and confusion, they hold on, believing that if they can just prove their love, things will go back to the way they were in the beginning. But the truth is, the beginning was never real. It was an illusion designed to establish control. The narcissist was never looking for connection, they were looking for compliance. Love to them is not about two hearts coming together, but about one person bending to the will of another. Until they recognize that love cannot be built on manipulation, their relationships will never be about genuine connection, only about maintaining power. In the beginning, everything felt like a dream. The narcissist was charming, attentive, and deeply invested in making their partner feel special. Every word was carefully chosen, every action designed to create a bond so strong that their partner felt irreplaceable. But this phase was never meant to last. It was never about love, it was about control. And once the narcissist feels they have secured their partner's devotion, the shift begins. The idealization fades, and the slow, painful process of devaluation sets in. At first, the change is subtle. The affectionate words that once came so easily now seem distant. The admiration that once felt endless is now sporadic, inconsistent, or completely absent. The partner who was once put on a pedestal starts to notice small criticisms creeping in. What was once adored is now questioned. The same qualities that were once praised, kindness, independence, ambition, are now seen as flaws. The very things that made the narcissist fall for their partner are suddenly the things they use against them. This shift is confusing, and that is exactly the point. The narcissist does not want their partner to see the change as a deliberate act. They want them to question themselves. They want them to believe they are the problem, that something they did caused the love to fade. The partner starts to wonder if they said the wrong thing, if they changed in some way, if they are no longer worthy of the same attention and affection. They replay moments in their mind, trying to figure out when things started to shift, but they can never quite pinpoint it because it was never about them in the first place. Devaluation is a slow, calculated process. The narcissist does not simply withdraw all at once. They alternate between warmth and coldness, keeping their partner emotionally hooked. One moment they may act loving again, giving just enough attention to make their partner feel hopeful, but soon after, they pull away, becoming distant, irritable, or even dismissive. This push and pull dynamic creates emotional dependency. The partner learns that love is conditional, that they must work for the affection that once flowed so effortlessly. They begin to walk on eggshells, trying to avoid conflict, trying to prove their worth, trying to get back to the version of the relationship that felt so real. One of the most painful aspects of devaluation is the loss of emotional safety. In the beginning, the narcissist created a space where their partner felt cherished and understood. But as devaluation sets, the narcissist begins to invalidate their partner's feelings, dismissing their concerns or making them feel like they are overreacting. If the partner expresses hurt or confusion, the narcissist may turn it against them, saying things like, "You're too sensitive," or "You're never happy no matter what I do." Over time, the partner learns to suppress their emotions, fearing that any expression of dissatisfaction will only push the narcissist further away. Gaslighting becomes another tool of control. The narcissist rewrites history, denying things they once said, contradicting themselves, or making their partner doubt their own memory. If their partner brings up an issue, the narcissist may claim it never happened or accuse them of imagining things. This mental and emotional manipulation erodes the partner's confidence, making them question their own judgment. They begin to rely more and more on the narcissist's version of reality, losing trust in their own perceptions. As the devaluation continues, the narcissist may begin to test boundaries more aggressively. They might start making hurtful comments disguised as jokes, subtly insulting their partner in front of others, or dismissing their achievements as unimportant. They may compare them to others, making them feel inadequate or unworthy. The goal is not just to lower their partner's self-esteem, but to reinforce the idea that they are the only source of validation. By breaking down their partner's confidence, they increase their control, ensuring that their partner remains dependent on them for approval. Despite the pain and confusion, the partner often stays. They remember the beginning, the passion, the deep connection, the sense of being truly seen. They believe that if they just try harder, they can bring back that version of the relationship. They convince themselves that this is just a phase, that the person they fell in love with is still there, buried beneath the distance and the coldness. They blame themselves, thinking if they could just be better, more patient, more understanding, things would go back to the way they were. But what they do not realize is that the beginning was never real. The admiration was a tactic, the affection was a strategy, and the love was a carefully constructed illusion. The narcissist was never looking for a true connection, they were looking for control. And now that control has been established, the game has changed. Devaluation is not a mistake, not a misunderstanding, not a rough patch. It is the next step in the narcissist cycle, a step that ensures they remain in power while their partner slowly loses themselves, one painful moment at a time, For most people, love is built on trust, intimacy, and the ability to be truly seen by another person. It requires vulnerability, the willingness to share fears, insecurities, and imperfections without the fear of rejection. But for a narcissist, vulnerability is not a place of connection, it is a threat. Deep down, they fear what true openness would require of them, and rather than embrace it, they do everything in their power to avoid it. This fear is not just about emotional exposure. It is about the loss of control, the risk of being seen for who they truly are beneath the carefully crafted exterior. From the very beginning of a relationship, a narcissist presents an image of confidence, strength, and perfection. They go out of their way to create an illusion of superiority, positioning themselves as someone who has it all together. Their charm, their ability to captivate, and their seemingly endless self-assurance all work to reinforce the idea that they are in control of their emotions, their circumstances, and their relationships. But beneath that exterior is something far more fragile, a deep, unacknowledged insecurity that they work tirelessly to hide. To be truly vulnerable would mean admitting flaws, acknowledging fears, and opening themselves up to the possibility of being hurt. This is something the narcissist cannot allow. They have spent their entire lives building a defense against such exposure, learning how to manipulate situations so that they never have to confront their own weaknesses. To do so would mean facing the truth about themselves. And that truth is something they have spent years running from. Instead of allowing for true intimacy, they create a dynamic where they are always in control of the emotional temperature in the relationship. They dictate when affection is given, when conversations go deep, and when walls are put up. They may share selective pieces of their past, but only in a way that still allows them to appear strong, misunderstood, or even heroic. If they do reveal something personal, it is often carefully crafted to gain sympathy rather than to foster genuine emotional connection. The goal is never mutual understanding, it is control. This fear of vulnerability is why narcissists struggle with true emotional intimacy. While they may be skilled at seduction, charm, and the early phases of a relationship, they falter when true closeness is required. When a partner begins to expect emotional depth, consistency, and honesty, the narcissist starts to pull away. They become distant, dismissive, or even cruel. They may belittle their partner's emotional needs, making them feel weak or needy for wanting a deeper connection. They do this because emotional intimacy requires authenticity, and authenticity threatens the carefully constructed image they have worked so hard to maintain. One of the ways a narcissist defends against vulnerability is by keeping emotional distance, even in the most intimate of relationships. They may physically be present, but emotionally they are unavailable. They avoid conversations that require self-reflection, change the subject when emotions become too deep, or resort to humor, sarcasm, or even anger to deflect from anything that feels too exposing. The closer someone tries to get, the more walls they put up. This fear of vulnerability also explains why narcissists engage in devaluation. The moment their partner starts to see through the illusion, to ask for more, or to challenge the narrative the narcissist has created, the narcissist feels exposed. Rather than risk being seen as anything less than perfect, they go on the offensive. They criticize, belittle, and shift blame, ensuring that their partner is too preoccupied with their own self-doubt to focus on the narcissist's emotional avoidance. This is not just a defense mechanism, it is a survival tactic. At their core, narcissists fear rejection and abandonment just as much as anyone else. But instead of confronting that fear, they attempt to control it by ensuring that they are always the one in power. They manipulate, withdraw, and punish to keep others at a distance, making sure that no one ever gets close enough to truly see them. They create relationships where they are desired but never truly known, admired but never truly understood. But no matter how much they run from it, the fear of vulnerability never goes away. It lingers beneath the surface, dictating their actions, sabotaging their relationships, and keeping them trapped in a cycle of shallow connections and emotional emptiness. He kept it because at the end of the day, love without vulnerability is not love at all. It is just another form of control, another way to avoid the very thing they fear most, being truly seen. Love is often defined by its depth its ability to connect two souls in a way that fosters mutual growth, understanding, and care. It is an act of selflessness, a willingness to put another person's needs alongside or even above one's own. Love thrives on vulnerability, emotional intimacy, and genuine compassion. But when it comes to narcissists, the question arises, can they truly love? They can display affection, they can form relationships, and they can even say all the right words. But their understanding of love is fundamentally different from that of someone capable of deep emotional connection. A narcissist version of love is transactional. They do not seek relationships for companionship or true partnership. They seek them for validation, control, and self-enhancement. In their world, a relationship is not about mutual giving, but about what they can gain. In the early stages, this can be incredibly deceptive because they often put on a dazzling display of charm, attention, and admiration. They make their partner feel special, desired, and irreplaceable. But this initial intensity is not rooted in genuine love. It is a means to secure admiration and attachment. The way a narcissist experiences relationships is through the lens of self-interest. They thrive on admiration and need their partner to reflect back an idealized version of themselves. As long as their partner continues to feed their ego, they may appear loving and devoted. However, the moment the supply of admiration weakens, when the partner asserts independence, expresses dissatisfaction, or stops excessively praising them, the narcissist's attitude shifts. The warmth fades, and what once felt like deep affection starts to feel cold and distant. True love, to be open and emotionally exposed, is to risk rejection, criticism, or a loss of control, things that threaten their carefully constructed self-image. Rather than engaging in the give and take of a healthy relationship, they maintain emotional distance, ensuring that they are always in a position of power. They may even create situations where their partner becomes anxious or insecure, reinforcing the idea that love is something they control and distribute as they see fit. A narcissist's concept of love is also deeply conditional. In a healthy relationship, love persists through challenges, misunderstandings, and difficult moments. But for a narcissist, love is only present as long as their needs are being met. If their partner ceases to serve their purpose, whether that be admiration, emotional support, or social status, the narcissist may withdraw, belittle, or even discard them entirely. They may see their partner not as a person with emotions and desires of their own, but as an extension of themselves, something to be used rather than cherished. Because they struggle with empathy, they do not experience love the way others do. They may recognize their partner's emotions on a surface level, but they do not deeply connect with them. If their partner is in pain, they may offer comfort, but it often comes with conditions, perhaps to avoid looking bad, to maintain control, or to keep their partner attached. Their care is not rooted in true concern, but in maintaining their own position within the relationship. This lack of deep emotional connection is what makes their love feel inconsistent. One moment, they can be affectionate and devoted, but the next, they may become distant or critical. This unpredictability keeps their partner longing for the initial affection, hoping that if they just do the right things, the love will return. But the love they are chasing was never unconditional. It was a means to secure control and validation. Yet, despite all of this, narcissists do not always realize they are incapable of love in the traditional sense. They may believe they love deeply, but their version of love is fundamentally about possession rather than partnership. They do not fall in love with who their partner truly is, but with how their partner makes them feel. It is an attachment based on what they receive rather than a connection formed through mutual understanding and emotional depth. In the end, the question is not whether a narcissist can feel something resembling love, but whether what they feel aligns with the true meaning of love. Love in its purest form is selfless, giving, and empathetic, qualities that a narcissist struggles to embody. Their love is conditional, driven by their own needs, and resistant to vulnerability. So while they may believe they love, it is not the kind of love that nurtures, sustains, and uplifts another person. It is love redefined through the lens of self-interest, control, and validation. Something that looks like love on the surface, but lacks the depth and sincerity of the real thing.